Hello, friends. This is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, May 26, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Monday, Memorial Day edition of Weaponized News. As Ruckus said in his post here, promoting the show, he says, not everyone takes the day off for federal holiday, especially if you're not feds. Well, indeed. We have Ruckus joining us again today on the line. So let me get through the intro so we don't leave them hanging in the green room too long here. What do we got? We got government propaganda for Memorial Day, of course. Play some of that. We have short clip, Smedley Butler laying it all out for you, like almost 100 years ago now, like what, 80, 90 years ago, say 80 years ago, whenever he finally got out of the military service and started telling the truth about what all his duties were there. Running a racket. War is a racket. We'll do a short excerpt of a great video I found from Smedley Butler. War's a racket. But I noticed they're scrubbing a lot of this stuff. There used to be so much more Smedley Butler War's a racket clips cut up, all produced documentary style, and a lot of them have gone away, man. They are scrubbing the internet. Okay, so get your hard copies of books, all kind of stuff, not just Smedley Butler, but across the board, man. They are scrubbing the hell out of the internet so they can tell you whatever they want, and there be no counter narrative. And so war's wonderful. We did it for your freedom, and all that propaganda. You know what I mean? So it's very sad. It's very sad. But many soldiers go do their service and they come back here and wake up to the fact that it was indeed all a racket, sadly. But today we honor those that didn't make it back on this Memorial Day. Fighting for the international bank cartel, international corporations is essentially what it amounts to here now, under the guise of spreading democracy, and we're liberating the people. We're just not doing that. I'm sorry to tell you. And they're not fighting for our freedom. That's just the truth. What else do we got today? Kind of a light news day, obviously, on this holiday, but we have a little bit of economic news. Little bit of economic news. Was it 14 trillion? If the Republicans in the Senate are blocking the big beautiful bill, Ron Johnson says it'll add $14 trillion to the national debt over the next 10 years. What else do we got? We got a little bit of public health news, geopolitical news. There was a car plows through a crowd there in Liverpool, tragic event. We have the Macron slap incident. People are saying it was his wife. You can't even see who it was. It was a hand. It was the invisible hand that slapped the hell out of Macron. He says it was fine. I guess he confirms it was his wife. Says everything's fine. He likes being slapped. Now we'll get to that story. And sadly, it looks like things are escalating again now in Russia-Ukraine war. As we thought last week, it appeared things were winding down. We had that prisoner exchange, 1,000 prisoners of war exchange between the two. Moscow put out a draft memorandum of its demands for peace, and they started carving out a buffer zone there in Ukraine, but it looks like over the last few days that has all deteriorated, with Russia alleging that Ukraine tried to assassinate Putin with a drone attack on his helicopter? I think it was his helicopter, maybe a plane, a helicopter. And now Russia is amassing troops on the border. Russia's launched the largest attack ever by drone and missile on Ukraine. So in a matter of a few days, it looked like we were winding it down finally, and things have escalated to worse than ever. Quite horrific indeed. There we have reporting from that front. The genocide in Aardvark land continues. We have iconic footage, probably the most iconic of the war thus far. This little girl somehow survived Aardvark's blowing up a hospital, and she's like in a silhouette of the flames of the burning building. We'll show you that image, quite iconic indeed. Are we done? Oh, and we have confirmation here of what I've been reporting the entire time. UK Tory leader Kimmy Baddock says the quiet part out loud that the Aardvarks are fighting a proxy war on behalf of the UK. Who's been telling you that? When it's all fun and well and good to hate Aardvarks all day and everything's Aardvarks, take a step back. There's puppeteers beyond hating Aardvarks. That's what we've been trying to explain to you here. And Weaponized News now confirmed here. And we'll play you that clip. We got Ice Barbie visits Aardvark land. And so expect some major crackdowns coming to the United States, especially after that shooting in D.C. of the Aardvark spies at the Aardvark Museum. And so, of course, they're going to leverage that to the fullest extent to take away more of our freedoms, more of our liberties, and say, don't be an anti-Aardvark. And so our head of Department of Homeland Security, Ice Barbie's over there crying at the wailing wall, as they all do here now. And so that's quite horrific. Just more scenes of the war crimes. They're shooting donkeys, trying to pull a cart of flour, and they laugh. Over there, it is the Jerusalem flag march, as these religious fanatical maniacs on the Aardvark side are provocateuring and celebrating their religious fanaticism. And it's quite scary indeed that we're partnered up with these maniacs. But we have plenty of religious fanatics here in America. Either that or they're war profiteers or just outright psychopaths. I don't know what drives these people. But all that to cover and much more on this edition of Weaponized News. And blast through this day in history. On May 26th, going back to the year 1647, Elise Young becomes the first woman, executed as a witch in the American colonies when she was hanged in Hartford, Connecticut. We do all love our literal witch trials. They're executing women that are alleged to be witches. In 1781, Bank of North America incorporates in Philadelphia. We do love our central bank cartels as well. In 1805, Napoleon Bonaparte is crowned King of Italy. In 1864, the territory of Montana is formed. In 1896, Dracula, famous Bram Stoker novel, was published on this day. In 1922, Vladimir Lenin suffers a stroke. In 1924, U.S. President at the time, Calvin Coolidge, signs immigration law restricting immigration. Wouldn't you know? In 1927, Ford Motor Company produces the last and 15 millionth Model T Ford, affectionately known as Tin Lizzie. In 1930, the U.S. Supreme Court rules buying liquor does not violate the Constitution. Isn't that good of them? In 1940, the first successful U.S. helicopter flight was the VS-300. In 1945, the U.S. firebombs Tokyo. Isn't that wonderful? And on this day of civil liberties, in 1947, let me go to this and try to blast through it as quick as I can. In 1947, on this day, We saw the release of an FBI memo that attacked It's a Wonderful Life as subversive anti-capitalism propaganda. An FBI memo on this day attacked the now classic film It's a Wonderful Life, starring James Stewart and Donna Reed, for conveying a subversive anti-capitalist, anti-banking message. Well, they were just showing you the reality of the situation. I'm sorry. The memo argued that making the banker, Mr. Potter, the most hated person in the film was a common trick used by communists. Really? There you go, covering for the central bank cartel, the FBI, going back to 1947. We do appreciate their never-ending lies and propaganda. The attack on the film, in fact, was a common FBI tactic of finding communist influence in just about anything that criticized American life and institutions. Wait, watch that now. It doesn't seem like communist propaganda to me. Maybe I'm too brainwashed by the Putin propaganda, but seems like it's calling out the banks for the crooks they are and continue to be to this day. So, yeah, on this day of our civil liberties, the FBI memo there, working for the central bank cartel. So who's the real commies? One of the planks of the Communist Manifesto is having a central bank. So there you go. In 1966, Guyana declares independence from the United Kingdom. And in 1978, the first legal gambling casino opens in Atlantic City. That's what America needs. And now it's being normalized with online sports gambling. And so that's what we really need, is a bunch of degenerate gamblers in this country, as if we didn't have enough problems. But it's legal, so what the hell? The banks are good and you're bad. Here's a segue to bring on Ruckus from alternatecurrentradio.com and many other endeavors on the interwebs. Here's the segue. This is from the White House. What do they say here? They say Memorial Day isn't about barbecues or beach days. It's about those American heroes who gave everything for our freedom. So, flat out lie. They gave everything for the international bank cartel and stealing resources around the world, and geopolitical hegemonic control is what they gave their lives for. Here's the segue. Is the audio good for you, Ruckus? I'm not hearing audio. Yeah? Okay. I gotta fix my speaker. So there is the propaganda from the White House, and I need to fix my speaker here so I can hear it. And I found the problem. Let me bring on Ruckus. Sorry about that. Ruckus, how you doing this Memorial Day?
I'm good. I was shocked. I didn't know about the thing about It's a Wonderful Life. That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, totally, well, you're a commie.
Yeah, that's what I'm shocked to learn as of right now that makes me a communist. That's wild, man. I had no idea. I guess I'm not that shocked. Not that shocked at all. Another nice
one of my favorite movies as well. And in the comments they said lots of Potterville fans these days. Denver says indeed there are.
Yeah, it makes sense. But you know, at the end, but it's not like modern day Hollywood films are portraying banksters as being like heroes, are they? I mean, Sure, the billionaire class is treated as such, definitely, most definitely, but usually, no, not a banker. I don't know. There was this one film. I don't know the name of it. Do your own research, but it was about a guy who was assassinating Wall Street stockbrokers and banksters and stuff like that because they led to the death of his wife. Very Luigi Mangione kind of character, a vigilante, as it were. Speaking of which, they're making a musical about that guy. I don't know if you heard about it, but it opens on Friday the 13th. True story, Luigi the musical. So we certainly live in a culture that celebrates death. Sometimes it's very somber and slickly produced propaganda, like you witnessed in your transition video to bring me on here, but usually it's in Hollywood, and it's totally okay for it to be in Hollywood. But how dare you say free Palestine because you're calling for violence and you're a bad person.
Ice Barbie, we'll get to that, went over to Aardvark land to pay her allegiance, so she's fully on board. Here's Trump today arrives at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Let's watch this propaganda from the White House. As is tradition to honor the unknown soldier. Here's Trump. Trump's Memorial Day tribute at Arlington. Duty called, and the cost was everything. I think he got out of the Vietnam War with bone spurs, if I'm not mistaken, but that's perfectly fine.
That might have had no audio.
I think it might not have. Let's see here. It didn't, huh? Apologies. Trying to sort out the audio. Okay, from Trump today. We'll read it now, so I know my audio is coming through. Here's his post on his True Social. He says, "Happy Memorial Day to all, including the scum that spent the last 4 years trying to destroy our country through warped radical left minds." He left out Operation Warp Speed, who allowed 21 million people to illegally enter our country. Now they're going with 21 million number. Many of them being criminals and mentally insane, through an open border that only an incompetent president would approve, and through judges who are on a mission to keep murderers, drug dealers, rapists, gang members, and release prisoners from all over the world in our country so they can rob, murder, and rape again, all protected by these U.S. hating judges who suffer from an ideology that is sick and very dangerous for our country. Hopefully, the United States Supreme Court and other good and compassionate judges throughout the land will save us from the decisions of the monsters who want our country to go to hell. But fear not, we have made great progress over the last 4 months and America will soon be safe and great again. Again, happy Memorial Day, and God bless America, even to the scum. So there you go. We'll be great again.
And in all caps.
And in all caps, too. He was yelling it. He yelled that message.
Okay, the whole thing. He needs to calm down. He's not a young spring chicken anymore. I don't, we would hate for something to happen to his health or his mental health. I mean, geez, settle down, dude. You don't need to scream. It's okay.
On this Memorial Day, though, some good news at the VA. It appears, this is a report out of Daily Caller. They say Trump VA takes machete to huge disability claim backlog that piled up under the Biden administration. The VA brought unresolved claims down from 264,717 to 198,378, or approximately 25%. So maybe they're trying to do something with the backlog of disability claims coming out of the VA there. They're notorious for not wanting to give disabled veterans their benefits. And so 25% taking care of the paperwork there on the unresolved claims. So that's one good thing that the Trump administration under Doug Collins, Secretary of the VA there, has done. So we can give them credit for that at least.
Okay, I'll give him the world's smallest golf clap. How's that?
That is nice of you.
That's all I got in me. I'm sorry.
Let's see. Can I get audio?
No more electric.
Nope.
I heard that, though.
That wasn't
Seems
good.
when we hear it, you can't.
Yeah, that wasn't good, though. Let's see. I think it's got to be this one. Let's see. Okay, this should work. Let me reload. Let me reload my screen share. Maybe that could be the problem as well. Again, thank you everybody for joining us on this Memorial Day weekend edition of Weaponized News. Let me try one more time here. There. Oh, there. Okay. The perils of live streaming here. Okay. Here's one more propaganda video, and then we'll get to a short clip from War is a Racket. I think this will play. Let's see. Nope. I don't know what's the deal with my audio here. I'm picking the wrong speaker for some reason. One of these is the right speaker. Let's see about this one. Nope. One more time. Nope.
You could play the video and we could riff, we could ad lib. Oh, I hear it.
Yeah, but that was what the heck one is it? I have too many speaker options here. I could have swore it was just this one. It's not showing.
And perhaps most importantly,
there we go.
The wars we never get into. It's called
Sorry about that. I think we got it sorted.
No more distractions. No more electric tanks. No more gender confusion. No more climate change worship. We are laser focused on our mission of warfighting. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. It's called peace through strength. You look into the eyes of these young Americans who are giving up the best years of their life in a uniform to serve their nation. They are incredible. Through our power and might, we will lead the world to peace. Our friends will respect us, our enemies will fear us, and the whole world will admire the unrivaled greatness of the United States military. We will replenish the pride of our armed forces, end the recruitment crisis.
We don't fight because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us.
God bless you. God bless our armed forces. God bless our men and women serving overseas. And God bless the United States of America.
There you go. There's propaganda from the Pentagon. And so
that was awesome, man. Was that a trailer for the new Starship Troopers movie? I mean, we should play the Starship Troopers clip. Remember all the propaganda in that movie? I mean, holy moly, that can't hold a candle to what USA got. America, I'm excited. I'm on board. I wish I wasn't as old as I am and I could go give my limbs and then my life to serve whatever that is. Wow. Yikes.
it's awesome. No more. We don't have to deal with electric tanks anymore. So I mean,
yeah, that was great. You had me at no more electric tanks, sir. I'm in. Hoorah! Right.
Here is a short clip from Wars of Racket, Smedley Butler, dispelling all of that high value production propaganda that we just played you from the government.
No one had more first-hand experience intervening in other countries than Smedley Butler, now a major general in the Marine Corps. Adored by his men, they called him Old Gimlet Eye after a wound sustained in Honduras. And at the end of his long and highly decorated service, he reflected upon his years in uniform.
I spent 33 years and 4 months in active military service as a member of this country's most agile military force, the Marine Corps. I served in all commission ranks from second lieutenant to major general. And during that period, I spent most of my time being a high-class muscle man for big business, for Wall Street, and for the bankers. In short, I was a racketeer, a gangster for capitalism. Like all the members of the military profession, I never had a thought of my own until I left the service. I helped make Mexico, especially Tampico, safe for American oil interests in 1914. I helped make Haiti and Cuba a decent place for the National City Bank boys to collect revenues in. I helped in the raping of half a dozen Central American republics to the benefits of Wall Street. The record of racketeering is long. I helped purify Nicaragua for the International Banking House of Brown Brothers in 1909 to 1912. I brought light to the Dominican Republic for American sugar earnest in 1916. In China, I helped to see to it that Standard Oil went its way unmolested. During those years, I had, as the boys in the back room would say, a swell racket. Looking back on it, I feel I could have given Al Capone a few hints. Best he could do is operate his racket in 3 districts. I operated on 3 continents.
Love that stuff. Love that clip. The whole thing, all of it. My favorite part is the fact that he served 33 years plus a certain number of months. So I was like, oh, no. But yeah, I've used, you're not kidding. You mentioned earlier that it's very difficult to find. They are scrubbing stuff. I also wanted to use some Smedley Butler stuff, and I eventually found it on my own program, The Daily Ruckus, when I was doing a series about disinformation wars, and I was hinting, just like any other war, that also is a racket, and it's true. But I was having a great difficult time finding all the classic Smedley Butler stuff, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. So yeah, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if there's a certain age group that have never heard of that person, never heard of that story. They have no idea, and I guarantee it's the certain age group that is about to watch the propaganda material that we just watched and go, yeah, I'm all in, baby. Yeah.
They're scrubbing the internet, man. They don't want you to know that at that time when he wrote the book, Wars of Racket, you couldn't have a higher, more credible source, the most highly decorated Marine in America at that time, calling it out as a racketeering operation, all these wars. So the most authoritative source you could possibly have calling it out, and they don't want you to hear that because there is no reply or amount of propaganda that can beat it right from the horse's mouth. Smedley Butler, Wars of Racket. Everybody should go buy that book. It's thin. It's like 120 pages or something. It's a breeze to read through, and then you have documentation on your bookshelf. When they delete the internet or whatever, you could say, "Oh, you're for war. You're gonna." or whoever, your friends, family, neighbors, acquaintances, they want to sign up for the military, say, hey, read this book first and see what you're really signing up for there. Might help you out. But we know a lot of people are poor. They have no other way out. And the rich men send the poor people to go die in their wars for resources. And that's the sad truth of the matter here. As we patriotically wave our flag, it's sad to see, but that's where we're at here in America. And okay,
Why
continue.
don't presidents go to war? Why do they always send the poor? That's a lyric from a System of the Dong sound.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's that's classic truth. Classic truth there. Okay, what do we got? Trump monetizes presidency. Profits outstrip protests. The president and his family have monetized the White House more than any other occupant. I don't know about that. This is the New York Slimes. Normalizing activities that once would have provoked heavy blowback and official investigations. Do you see the Biden crime family last? But they all do it. They all do it. And of course, they're going to use their position of power to go ahead and monetize it and make obscene profits at their idiot followers' expenses and at U.S. taxpayer expenses. We don't even have a choice. We're forced at the barrel of a gun to pay taxes to so they can leverage their position of power in the White House to make untold profits. It's quite absurd. And I'm sure the next administration will do the same thing. And it doesn't matter, Republican, Democrats, but we still have this now all the quote left-wing media want to do investigative reports again because there's a alleged Republican Trump in the White House. And so now they do all their big investigative reports exposing it all. Where were you guys last exposing the oligarchy the last 4 years in the Biden administration? Oh, Biden's a saint. He's a Catholic Zionist, however that works out. But now of course.
I hate to agree with the New York Times, but I think I agree with the New York Times on this one. You know what I mean? They're talking about like all the shenanigans going on with like dumping and pumping the. Yeah, he's like making deals. Buddies are getting rich. He's dumping and pumping and dumping the markets with his tweets. I'm gonna actually make a post about that tomorrow on my X because it's fascinating. He'll come out and say like, "Oh yeah, 50% tariffs here," and then the markets crash, and then like 5 hours later he tweets, "Nah, I changed my mind," and they go like through the roof. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane, Sam. So maybe there is some shady dealings going on behind the scene. But of course, as you mentioned, there always is. It doesn't matter which side it is.
There always is, but now we have a media. We have a fourth estate again in the country. Again, it only took Trump in the White House for all of his corruption to be exposed. We would take you guys seriously and say, well, you're legitimate, you're legitimate journalists if you would treat both sides the same, but they have an affinity for the Democrats, sadly, because they have to keep us in this left-right paradigm. And the Democrats can do no wrong. It's those evil Republicans when in reality, it's the government. They just go on here. They talk about his Qatar deal to get that jet, the 747, which he's donating.
That is a pretty sweet deal, though. That was nice.
He's donated to the government, so he's not directly, I guess he can use it, but it is the government's. The funniest...
It's not like they're going to call one day and say, hey, remember when we gave you that jet? Like, we need to call in a favor.
Pay for play. But the most recent example of corruption that we continue to report is $Trump, the call sign for his crypto, for his meme coin, where he had 220 investors have an exclusive dinner at the White House, or at where was it? A Virginia club, exclusive dinner with the president, Trump. And so that's pretty much pay for play kind of deal. And many of them were foreigners. And so it's looking pretty shady. And his two sons in the Trump business empire are leveraging his position in the White House to make all kind of deals. Where was it? I think Vietnam is going to build some giant Trump type of complex going on there, a hotel. So they are taking advantage of their position there in the White House, sadly. Okay, More economic news. Treasury sounds death knell for penny. So pennies, your 1 pennies will no longer be produced. So they're phasing out pennies. So they may be collector's items. I don't know. Remember your wheat pennies? I have a collection of them somewhere in a jar. But turns out it costs more to produce the actual pennies than they're worth. And so there will be no more pennies. When they say here, starting early, the U.S. Treasury Department will stop putting new pennies into circulation by early next year. And so no more pennies. I don't know how we're going to make change at the store. I guess they figure there's enough in circulation, but you may want to round up some pennies now for their numismatic value. They may become collector's items here in the very near future. I don't know. But
just when you thought America made no sense, they go ahead and start literally making no sense. Get it? Of course. Yeah. No. This is a slippery slope. This is a dangerous going to hell in a handbasket. Cashless society. Anybody? It starts with the little penny. You give them a penny, they're going to take the dollar. I'm telling you. Yeah. This is wild, man. That would blow my mind to think that one of the most common items. I mean, seriously, people. How many hundreds of people will walk past a penny laying on the ground, and you're telling me that one day that's actually going to be worth something? I don't believe it.
Not me. I'm an aardvark when it comes to that. I'll pick it up. I'll pick a damn penny up off the ground all day, but may get poisoned with fentanyl. Remember that was going around? I
remember actually, and I still have this thing. We did this very, very cool science experiment. Like it must have been 6th or 7th grade. It was very early on, actually. And then there's been variations of this at various ages, like high school and stuff. But it changes the color of the copper penny to make it look like it's silver or gold. And I have one of each still, and it still looks like it's silver, and it still looks like it's gold. It's pretty wild. But it's like a chemical reaction, and it's not really silver or gold. But I don't know if you guys ever did that. I bet some of you out there know what I'm talking about. And then the other cool thing is you could well, don't do this, don't try this at home, kids. But remember putting them on the train tracks to flatten the pennies. Yeah.
Or cause a train derailment.
No, the pennies don't cause trains to derail.
With production costs rising. According to the Wall Street Journal here, the United States government lost more than $85 million last year on roughly 3 billion pennies produced. So that's the excuse they're using. It does make economic sense, but as you said, the slippery slope to digital currency, and they're phasing out cash here. And this is the first step of getting rid of the pennies. I'm sure if they really wanted them, they could figure out something to make it efficiently produced. But so some 60% of actively circulating coins, or as much as $14 billion, sit in coin jars, according to the Federal Reserve. I have a coin jar here full of change.
Are they going to go door to door and start seizing coin jars?
Maybe. Are you hiding pennies underneath your floorboards? That may be coming soon.
Are you hiding pennies inside the cracks of your couch?
Without even knowing it. Okay, the big, beautiful bill that Trump says is going to make America great again, is actually adding, it's running up, it passed the House of Representatives last week, and now it's running up against Republican opposition in the Senate. Let's hear Ron Johnson talk about, it's going to add $14 trillion to the national debt over the next 10 years, I think. Clearly unsustainable. Here is Republican Senator Ron Johnson on CNN talking about it.
Nothing but support for what President Trump is trying to do. I love the way he's acting boldly and swiftly, decisively to fix the enormous messes left by the Biden administration. So, from my standpoint, this is a budget reconciliation process, so we ought to talk about numbers. One of my disappointments with what the House process is about, the only number we ever heard about was $1.5 trillion, which sounds like a lot, but it's only $150 billion per year. And this is put in context of the fact that in 2019 we spent $4.4 trillion. This year we'll spend over $7 trillion. $150 billion on that is basically a rounding error.
Yeah, you're talking about the spending cuts. So we need to get serious
about this. We need to establish goals. Listen, this is the weekend we honor the service and sacrifice of the finest among us. More than 1 million that died to defend this nation. I don't think they served and sacrificed to leave our children completely mortgaged, their future and their prospects diminished because of it. So we need to be responsible. The first goal of our budget reconciliation process should be to reduce the deficit. This actually increases it. But let me describe the mess. President Obama averaged about $910 billion of deficits per year. President Trump in his first 3 years averaged about 810. Then COVID hit, over $3 trillion in deficit. It should have ended there. We should have immediately returned to a pre-pandemic level spending, but President Biden averaged $1.9 trillion of deficits over his 4 years. And according to CBO, those deficits now average $2.2 trillion over the next 10 years. We'll add $22 trillion. And I'm sorry, the House bill would probably add, I've calculated $4 trillion. You're saying you have these independent analysts saying it's 3.3 to 4 trillion. I agree with that. We have to reduce the deficit. And so we need to focus on spending. So you don't defeat the deep state by funding it.
Sorry, it was 22 trillion. I was off there. I was conservative in my estimate.
How many pennies is that? Out of curiosity.
Geez, that's a lot of zeros, man. So
yeah, exactly.
Republicans are pushing back.
It's a lot of zeros, man. It's insane.
But don't you worry about anything. Segue to X money. If you trust this, just take a hammer and hit yourself in the head. Musk confirms X money beta testing ahead of planned 2025 launch. Initial testing of the payment and banking app will be limited because extreme care must be taken when people's savings are involved, Musk wrote on X. If you trust Musk with your money, I feel like an idiot for even paying for their stupid check marks just so we could stream on there, because they were fully shadow banned. It's a joke. It's stupid. It's a fraud. It's a scam. It's a lie, like most things Musk. Overhyped, underdelivered. But I would, not giving financial advice, I would highly recommend not putting any money into your X digital account here as they're rolling it out for the everything app that is Musk on X here. His life's work is to put us in his censorship ghetto of X. And so it's quite disturbing. Plenty of idiots will jump right on board, tell us how wonderful it all is, and then cry like babies when they can't access their life savings that they've entrusted to this globalist criminal, Elon Musk. What are your thoughts? Are you going to pour your life savings into the XPay app?
Right. He's got a lot of work to go on fixing some of this stuff first, to be completely honest with you, because like the whole app has been having issues. Direct messages were not working for a while. Servers have been going down. We actually discussed this just yesterday on Sunday Wire with Patrick Henningsen. And it was a true story. It like happened like just before I joined the show that day. I was looking for Patrick's post on my feed, or on his feed specifically, about his announcing, hey, we're going to be live for the Sunday Wire. And it wasn't showing me any of his posts. And then I go to my feed, it wasn't showing me any of my own posts. So I had to log in with my other account, and then I could see everything. And when I was logged in under my other account and I went to Patrick's post, it told me, hey, you're not verified. You should get verified, so that just like Patrick Henningsen is verified, so that you can get boosted reach. And I'm like, you're stupid, because of all the hoops I had to jump through to even see the dude's post. So clearly paying you money because my other account is verified didn't help at all. Neither did it help Patrick Henningsen, because he as well, of course, pays for it. See, it's a joke. It's a ripoff. So they ain't getting my money.
He ran a scam on us, said, you are the media now. We want citizen journalists reporting. We're gonna give you blah blah blah. Really, dude? Now you pay for the stupid reach that you allegedly had, and now they want you to do the same thing like on Facebook. You pay to promote your reach which is it's a lie. It's double talk. He went back on everything he said, and so they're fraudsters. But here is X money, and they're rolling it out, and plenty of idiots are going to love it. And so there it is. X money is in
I bet
beta.
he'll give out some of it for free.
Yeah, to hook you in it. X is beta testing X money right now, and then all the shill fake big accounts on there will pump at how great it all is, and then a bunch of idiots will jump on board and get scammed again. And it just
The people who already receive payouts through X will probably be offered a better deal or a sweet. Oh, actually, hold on. They won't have a choice. What the hell am I thinking? So they will probably be forced to receive it in whatever the X digital money is rather than the traditional manner. So there you go. So he already has like a built-in economy to get the wheels all greased up and going.
Indeed. So he steals our data to train his AI system. We get no compensation for that. He freaking lies up one side, down the other about your access and your ability, your account on X to hook everybody into paying for a stupid blue check mark. And it just goes on and on with the frauds of this guy. He promised $2 trillion in savings through Doge that he was going to expose that to government. It's like I guess the 200 billion is all we could squeeze out of it, and that's being conservative. So we're giving him the benefit of the doubt there, and now he's backing away after he did his duty of putting Palantir AI systems all throughout our government, which was the real goal the entire time. And he doesn't give a damn if you save any tax money, and he doesn't give a damn about anything but taking over the world through his Everything app here as they continue.
Well, he's got other successful companies that have no issues whatsoever. Take, for instance, Tesla. Tesla is just perfectly fine and safe and effective. No issues there whatsoever. And then I can't wait for it, but the brain chip, I mean, things went very, very well with the initial testing, especially with the monkeys. That was fantastic. So, you know, everything's great. Everything's fine. Starlink, everything's perfectly fine, Sam. Have you seen the SpaceX videos? Look, that rocket can take up and re-land itself. It's all real, totally not fake at all.
I believe it. We're going to Mars soon. There was a video, now that you brought up Tesla, I don't know if I could find it quickly here, but I did see a video over the weekend, a Tesla self-driving car in self-driving mode literally ran off the road right into a tree head on. And it's like, well, that's wonderful. How dare you question it?
That's the made feature, Sam.
I can't find the video now, but yeah, they did it. Okay, as they're rolling out, announced anytime soon here, next couple of weeks, they're gonna have fully autonomous Tesla taxis in Austin, Texas. So we covered that last week here, so it's all wonderful. They spy on everything you do.
We need to cut down all the trees before there's a serious issue.
Cut down the trees, or you may wreck into one with Tesla's AI self-driving mode on. So yeah, get rid of the trees, problem solved. I agree. Okay, so we're at the 50-minute mark. We've got a short section about public health, and then we'll do our commercial. Why we have to be careful about this. Oh, this is a good time for me to remind everybody. Tomorrow we will have Thomas from Alpha Mega Energy and a special guest, Charles Frohman. He is from the Freedom Hub, and he's part of the oldest health freedom organization. And so we're going to do a deep dive on public health policy, MAHA, MAGA, all those things. We won't be on YouTube because they don't appreciate anything. Who knows what they like, but I know they don't like that. And so we won't be on YouTube. So everybody go to Rumble, Odysee, X, and see our deep dive tomorrow about public health policy on MAHA here in America. This guy says he has a direct line or to Bobby Kennedy Jr. So we're gonna pick his brain about what all is going on here with MAHA and the successes, the letdowns, and what is up. So that's tomorrow on Weaponized News. But why are more than 300 people in the U.S. still dying from the bat disease every week? The ABC News asks. And so it turns out it's like last month, an average of about 350 people died a week of the bat disease, according to the CDC. But what they don't tell you is they're still practicing the bat protocols at the hospital. I was just seeing reports locally here where somebody's relative went into the hospital, tested positive, boom, you're on the remdesivir, you're on the ventilator. We've covered the routine here ad nauseum with firsthand testimony from the victims' families, and that program continues to this day. And so if you go to the hospital, they test you positive, get ready to be run through the bat protocols still to this day. Okay, and that's where we're at here in America. And never mind, there's like the media, ABC News, but they're all guilty of it, are pumping the fact. I thought the miracle cured everybody, but 300 still dead. All of your mainstream, I've never seen one of them report on the bat protocols. And so they deny this. But we know that's what's happening here because we've done our own reporting at Weaponized News and other places. And we know 100% that's exactly what's happening is they run them through the protocols after being tested positive and ventilate you and get paid big money for it. And it's all liability protected under the PrEP Act, Ruckus. And so that program is still going on here in America 5 years later after the bat flew the coop.
Well, I mean, clearly we know whose fault this is. It's the people who didn't accept the miracle. I mean, because if everybody accepted that, see, that's the only way it works, Sam. Every single person has to accept the miracle into their arm, and we could get this down to more than absolutely zero. There'd be zero. There would be zero people with the bat thing. So get on it, people. I don't know. It's like 2025 already. You'd think you'd have 20 of them by now. Come on.
They're cutting down now. It's only for the most vulnerable being recommended by the government. So you missed your chance, maybe.
Although this would be, because it would be interesting, because there is a slight chance that the whole thing does eventually go away. This could be your last chance. If you made it through the whole thing and you never had to go through the protocols and you were just wondering what it was like, and you're like, yeah, gee, all my friends and family, they went through it. Maybe I should do it at least once. And then, oh, wait, shoot, no, I shouldn't because they all died.
It's quite horrific. So that's still going on here, and none of your Maha, none of your Trump, MAGA, they don't want to talk about it. And so still goes on, protected by the PrEP Act. Ask them about the PrEP Act. Look it up. It's giving liability protection as if we're still in an emergency here. And so it's being abused, the law, to the fullest extent possible. And they're still profiteering off of the bat. And it's beyond the pale at this point. It always was, but I mean, 5 years into this thing, and they're still doing it. Here's our favorite miracle pusher out there, Hotez. Let's take he's come out again now after confirmed by that Senate report we went over. The miracle causes heart inflammation, myocarditis, pericarditis, triplet, confirmed by the government. They don't care. Here's Hotez saying how wonderful it all is. I mean, beyond the pale, man.
I do think the boosters were helpful because it wasn't always about death and hospitalization. There were a couple of other things going on to keep up with boosters. One was long COVID. If you were vaccinated and keeping up with your boosters, you had a greatly diminished likelihood of getting long COVID. I think that was important. The other was, I don't think we adequately explained that this virus is we called it a respiratory virus. It was probably first and foremost a thromboembolic virus, right? It was, causing coronary artery blockage and heart attacks and strokes. And so actually one of the best ways to protect your heart health was actually getting vaccinated and keeping up with your boosters.
This guy's allowed to say that all over YouTube, all over wherever. But if we wanted to challenge him and say, no, look, Here's a report from the U.S. Senate. We got banned and censored for it still to this day, to show you the absurdity of this whole situation we find ourselves in. First Amendment America.
So I can't say that guy sucks?
I guess you could say he sucks, but don't say he's wrong about the miracle.
Oh, no, I don't have to say why he sucks. I'm still allowed to my opinion. Hey, that guy really, really sucks. There you go.
He does. How anybody... It's just all fake. It's propaganda. It's obviously shill liars, okay? Because the information's out there. And so you're thoroughly discredited, whoever that was hosting them on their highly produced podcast there. You're thoroughly discredited too. And so you're all pieces of garbage. And we've proven it up one side and down the other. But they still don't allow it on your censored interwebs here now. So that's where we're at here in America. Okay, let's take our live commercial break. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself some stickers there. We got the holograph sticker. See the rainbow there? We're getting ready for Pride Month. It's coming up here in June, all June. Can beat you over the head with a rainbow. But you could beat them all with your Weaponized News holograph sticker and say, every day's Pride Day for me, Weaponized News. And then here's the white background and then the clear background. Put it on your laptop, your bumper, your guitar, your Cybertruck, your work locker, and any place else you feel like the word needs to be spread and can be highly visible. Weaponizednews.com for your stickers. And then let's go to our commercial from our one sponsor, Abazaba Enterprises.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abazaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abazaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250.
And Ruckus, plug.
Yeah, sure. Go to alternatescurrentradio.com. Oh, maybe I should put that in the middle, huh? There we go. We'll do that instead. Yeah, and there you will find my daily ruckus, my recent appearances on Weaponized News. Hopefully, usually it'll refresh there. But you'll find Boiler Room. There's Boiler Room. You'll find Daily Ruckus. There we are. Sunday Wire. And then, yep, there's Roundabout Ruckus, my last appearance on Weaponized News. Boiler Room, Sunday Wire, etc. AlternateCurrentRadio.com. And then, of course, if you need a little help with some work with your website or graphic design kind of stuff, I go by the word slinger. You can find me on my X account. It's AC_wordslinger. Send me a DM or find my email address and shoot me an email. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you for that message. Everybody check out Ruckus work there, and you can see right there at the bottom, there's his X handle. Easiest way to contact him there. Okay, a car. Now we're on to our geopolitical section. It was kind of a slow news day today, I guess, under the holiday. A car plows into a crowd during a Liverpool Victory Day parade. Let's watch this. These sports fanatics are almost as bad as government fanatics.
Oh, it's a bit bonuses. Holy shit. Oh my god. Who's that? What the fuck? He's out of him. What the fuck? What the fuck's going on there? Oh my god, what the fuck? Nah, he's dead then. That's funny, me video that. So they've just killed, he's just killed it.
And so that's how they celebrate their, or I guess they're running over the fans that were celebrating their soccer team's victory. And that's how, that's in UK. That's crazy, man. Any thoughts, comments on that?
We don't know anything about the driver or the motive yet, so I'm hesitant to say anything. Speaking of hesitant, he may have had a medical emergency for whatever strange reason, and You know, these things happen. Or it could have been a self-driving car. What if that was an EV and it went haywire? Maybe AI did all of that. I don't know, but that's a very triggering video for some people. We should have warned folks, I guess. Wow.
They say 4 kids among 47 injured after it was a white man, they want you to know, a British man, 53 years old, is what's initially being reported. 4 children were among the 50 people injured when a car plowed full throttle through the crowd of fans celebrating Liverpool FC's victory parade. And so soccer's a dangerous thing. Be careful out there. Tragic event, make no damn sense, but people are crazy. And like you say, it could have been a malfunctioning battery-powered car. He could have had a medical emergency. I don't think we know what the alleged motive is yet, but a tragic event there. Indeed.
There's so many things that need to be considered. The problem is putting that large amount of people into one place. You have to take extra special considerations for their safety. And generally, when the dust has settled after any type of event, whether it's an accident or something that's caused, you will see that there were some glaring gaps in the aforementioned safety precautions that should be taken. So I'm going to guess that that's probably going to be the case here. So again, there are simple steps and things things you have to consider, especially in this day and age, considering vehicles. It's not like we haven't seen this kind of thing before. So I think maybe somebody made a human error somewhere. And if there was better precautions put in place, maybe that would not have happened. That's my supposition.
Tragic event there. Another tragic event out of Europe is Macron gets pimp slapped. And is this his wife? I guess he says it is his wife. Let's watch this. Macron's been coming up in a lot of scandals. Remember the fake bag of cocaine that we don't know if it was a tissue, cocaine, what? That was like a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, here's an arm. I guess Macron confirms it is his wife, but you just see an arm come out and slap his face here. Watch this clip. It's pretty funny. And then he waves. These guys are actors, man. That's a great recovery, though. She was just wiping the cocaine off of his nose, and so that's perfectly fine.
And then there's other weird video that one the female stewardess or flight attendant chick or whatever, or somebody there in the yellow jacket there outside on the stairs.
Yeah.
Later on, there's this clip. There's something weird on her shoulder, and everyone's like, "What is that on her shoulder?" It almost looks like something that's like it kind of looks like her shoulder's been ripped off and it's bloody, but it looks like there's something on her shoulder that looks like it's got a splooch of blood all over it. It's very strange looking. I don't get it.
Here's Macron denies having a fight with his wife. See, she was just wiping the cocaine off his nose.
Fait dire à une vidéo beaucoup de bêtises. Sur ces 3 vidéos, j'ai ramassé un Kleenex, serré la main à quelqu'un et juste plaisanté avec mon épouse comme on le fait assez souvent. Moi, ça fait 3 semaines. Si vous faites l'agenda international du président de la République française, de Kiev à Tirana jusqu'à Hanoï, il y a des gens qui ont regardé des vidéos et qui pensent que j'ai partagé un sac de cocaïne, que j'ai fait un mano à mano avec un président turc et que là maintenant je suis en train d'avoir une scène de ménage avec ma femme. Rien de tout ça n'est vrai, pourtant ces 3 vidéos sont vraies. Donc il faut que tout le monde se calme et surtout s'intéresse au fond de l'actualité.
See, they're just playing around. He jokes around like that.
I didn't know about the Turkish president. Thanks for letting us know, Macron. Wow. Oops, that one slipped out.
Okay, on to the sad news. As we reported last week, they did the prisoner exchange of 1,000 on each side, Russia, Ukraine, prisoners of war. And it looked like things are winding down there. A draft memo of Russia's demands for peace was sent to Ukraine. But over the weekend here, Russia defies Trump with largest ever drone and missile attack on Ukraine. Kiev says more than 350 explosive drones targeted its cities. And this is a reply to the alleged assassination attempt on Putin by Ukrainian drones, attacking his helicopter he was in. And so all this has developed over the last couple of days when it looked good, like maybe we're getting some kind of peace deal. Now there are also reports of Russia massing 50,000 troops and preparing for a ground assault on Ukraine. And so things have escalated back to full-on war again here now over just the last couple of days. Ruckus, what are your thoughts on this? It doesn't look like
that seems to like pretty much always happen after there's something that appears to be making progress. Have you noticed that?
Every time it looks like it's winding down, something happens and it cranks back up again. Now, a major escalation from NATO, from America. Let's play the clip here. German Chancellor Merz, not Fred Merz from I Love Lucy, but Frederick Merz, now Chancellor of Germany, says the gloves are off. The UK, France, Germany, and the United States have lifted all range restrictions on weapons sent to Ukraine, meaning they can now be used to strike deep inside the Russian territory. Remember, that was a limitation they had put on these missiles, is you can't shoot the freaking Kremlin from Ukraine, basically, is what they're saving. Even they did workarounds and there have been attacks here and there, but now like their full artillery can be targeted at the Kremlin and other spots deep inside the Russian territory. Let's watch this clip. So a very large escalation coming from NATO and America here now. Let's hear from the old, and who could say that they did not see this coming, the German Chancellor.
Es gibt keinerlei Reichweitenbeschränkungen mehr für Waffen, die an die Ukraine geliefert worden sind, weder von den Briten noch von den Franzosen noch von uns, von den Amerikanern auch nicht. Das heißt also, die Ukraine kann sich jetzt auch verteidigen, indem sie zum Beispiel militärische Stellungen in Russland angreift. Das konnte sie bis vor einiger Zeit nicht. Das hat sie bis vor einiger Zeit auch bis auf ganz wenige Ausnahmen nicht getan. Das kann sie jetzt. Wir nennen das im Jargon Long Range Fire, also auch mit Waffen die Ukraine auszustatten, die militärische Ziele im Hinterland angreifen. Und das ist der entscheidende qualitative Unterschied in der Kriegsführung der Ukraine. Russland greift völlig rücksichtslos zivile Ziele an, bombardiert Städte, Kindergärten, Krankenhäuser, Altenheime. Das tut die Ukraine nicht. Und da legen wir auch sehr viel Wert darauf, dass das so bleibt. Aber ein Land, das sich nur im eigenen Territorium einem Angreifer entgegenstellen kann, verteidigt sich nicht ausreichend. So, und diese Verteidigung der Ukraine, die findet jetzt eben auch gegen militärische Infrastruktur auf russischem Staatsgebiet statt.
A large escalation there.
Yeah, that used to be a big deal. That was a red line for Putin too. We all accepted that as leading the path to, well, you know what, which we have been trying our hardest to avoid for most of our adult lives, Sam. But here we are again. How are they going to move the little second hand a little bit closer on the doomsday clock? Maybe, probably. They do like to do that in the summertime, I've noticed.
Summer of global warming, thermonuclear war, potentially. It's escalating there. Just when it looked like things were dying down and we're ready to have peace talks, not so much. We got this message coming out of the ambassador to Turkey. I thought this was striking.
Was this who Macron was talking about?
No, I don't think. I think he was talking about Erdogan. They're Coke buddies or something. No, but U.S. ambassador to Turkey. Let me put this on the screen. This is quite striking. He says, a century ago, the West imposed maps, mandates, penciled borders, and foreign rule. Sykes-Picot divided Syria and the broader region for imperial again, not peace. That mistake cost generations. We will not make it again. The era of Western interference is over. The future belongs to regional solutions, but partnerships and diplomacy grounded in respect, as President Trump emphasized in his during his trip to Saudi Arabia, Riyadh there. Gone are the days when Western interventionists would fly to the Middle East to give lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. So I thought this was quite striking. Tom Barak, ambassador to Turkey, posted that on X yesterday. The era of Western interference is over, he says.
Was that a threat or a promise?
Trump's comments on Gaza reflect Aardvark's growing isolation, the New York Times tells us. I'm still not buying this narrative, but they're trying to frame the narrative out there in a bunch, in the Washington Compost, the New York Times, Axios, that there's this rift between Trump and Babie. I'm just not buying it. I'm sorry to tell you, but this is the new narrative trying to save face here. Apparently for America, backhandedly for Trump, trying to say that he's shocked by the images coming out of Gaza. Where you been the last 2 years, Trump? It's arms, legs blowing off, heads blowing off, women, children. It's the most horrific horror show you could ever imagine. And IDF openly posted all over the interwebs. And so it's, there's millions of hours of war porn out there for you to view at this point of the genocide they're committed by the aardvarks. But now Trump's trying to back away from it because even he's realizing that it's over the top, as we saw UK, France, and Canada last week are trying to step back from it as well. What are your thoughts here? Is it too much for them to bear the images coming out of the siege and it's just regular now, arms and legs blowing off of children? Is it too much for the West to bear? Why have they recalculated their public support for aardvarks here?
Well, the whole war crimes thing. Well, anyway, that'll do it every time, usually. Well, not every time. Depends on who's doing the crime. Listen, Trump said this way back in the day. Remember, he was all like, hey, listen, Bibi, I know you got a thing to do over there, and that's your business, but you made a huge mistake. You made a big mistake by letting the whole world see it. And he was like, none of these people are concerned about, like, the actual result of the thing. The problem is that it's on the screen. And I'm sure they've all been like, look, we keep telling you, you guys got to like tone it. You can't like tone it down, or we would love to help, but we can't do it. I mean, like, the world is watching, and they're like, whatever, we're going to do what we want. And we're like, so sorry, we got no choice but to start backing off now. So, I mean, but that's only going to possibly empower them to go full gung-ho, because if they feel like they're being backed into a corner and they're like, well, the whole world is abandoning us, oy vey, what do we do? Anyway. Oh, there's always the Samson thing, isn't there? Yeah. What was that again? Oh, shucks. Gosh darn it.
If Americans knew Gaza genocide is dwarfing the German 6 million, let's watch this short clip.
You characterize how lockstep the so-called mainstream media is, that for 2 years they haven't been covering the genocide, and then suddenly, as if by magic, some of the presenters on even mainstream news, I mean, even on Rupert Murdoch's Fox News, suddenly seem to understand some element of your information on if Americans knew. Why does everything happen lockstep?
It's interesting how much that is, that you hear the same phrases, the same usually Israeli talking points when and if you hear anything about the issue. But now it is changing slightly. I'm not sure the exact cause of why there's this sudden change, unless it's just that it's so horrific. It's so horrific. Because of social media, many more Americans, especially younger Americans, are learning what's going on, and it's showing the corporate media up for the fraudulence of so many of its news reports. I think that's part of it. I think they may be realizing that this is, I truly think this is dwarfing the Nazi Holocaust, what's going on right now. It's certainly a massive genocide that's going on in real time that we can see, unlike the 1940s when people didn't see what was going on. Now we can see it. You can open up your smartphone that everyone has. You go to Twitter or Instagram, and you can see these tragic, horrible images from the region if you know to look for them. And people are doing that more and more. And so the corporate media must realize that they are really being shown up as fraudulent, pro-Israel shills. And as human beings, I'm hoping that maybe this is touching them also. And they certainly don't want to be on the side of history where their children and grandchildren said, how could you do that? How could you do that? How could you not tell the truth about what was being done?
I don't think it's touching them. I think they're psychopaths, but they are smart enough to realize that they don't want to be blamed for the genocide. Here, Ruckus, what do you think? Your corporate media, Mockingbird media, are having a change of heart and finding their conscience after two.
Yeah, they're losing. My previous comments stand. The social media kicked their ass, and now they're like, ah, crap, now we got to play along. Yeah, it's just all the same face. But I do disagree with one thing that lady said, and unfortunately, it's probably not the thing that she said the most controversial that I should probably publicly distance myself from. But what it is that she said that I disagree with is that these young people, if you know where to find it so like hinting that you have to go search for some sort of certain keyword to see these horrific images. Oh, hell no, it does not work like that. All you got to do is go on social media and just start scrolling. And then you're like, oh, cute little bunnies. Oh, there's the newest music by the band. I like it. Holy crap, that kid is missing his head. What is going on here? It's horrible. And you do not have to search for it. And that was the problem. So it's that bad. It's so in your face. You don't even have to look for it. And it finds you and it changes you. Only if you're human, of course.
Isn't that why they had to sell TikTok, and now that's like hung up because of aardvark? Aardvarks are mad that it was just showing too much to the youth, and they were seeing that, oh, wait a minute, yeah, they're blowing all these people up, and so then they had to sell it, and now it's like, I don't know, in purgatory or something. We're waiting to see what is the fate of TikTok still, as Trump has put a moratorium. I think it was like 90 days or something. They're still trying to sort out how they're going to sell it and not make it look like a total, just corrupt takeover of TikTok. But IDF's daily posting their war crimes on Telegram. And so it's all there for the world to see. Here's this iconic image now that's come out after at least 30 people were killed after another hospital bombing. Of course, Hamas was hiding there, so don't even worry. But this iconic image of this little girl, this is what they're afraid of right here. Is like, remember the famous image of the monk protesting the Vietnam War, lighting himself on fire, that went around the world. Here's another one of these iconic images that they're going to try to memory hole, but take a look at this. And that's what they don't want going super mega viral and the world seeing. Her name was Ward Shaikh Khalili. The girl was trapped in flames during an aardvark strike in Gaza. She was rescued. She lived. Her mother and 6 siblings were killed, and her father is in critical condition, according to Press TV. Here's a clip of that little girl alive.
من دار الشيخ خليل. طب وين الزلمه؟ وين من دار الشيخ خليل؟ طب مين تحت ضايل؟ هي ابوه عايش. ابوك وينه؟ بالاسعاف ابوه عايش. طب امك وينها؟ واخوك وينه؟ برضه موجود تحت الرضم.
So she did live through that, amazingly enough. And some confirmation here, what we've been saying. Aardvark land is fighting a proxy war on behalf of the UK. Let's watch this clip of UK Tory leader, surprisingly enough, on Rupert Murdoch's Sky News.
The Prime Minister joined with Mr. Macron and Mr. Carney in criticising Israel. Mr. Netanyahu responded by accusing him of supporting murderers, rapists, and baby killers. Was the Israeli leader right to say that?
Well, I think the first thing to say on this issue is that if Hamas is praising your actions, you've probably done something wrong. Hamas is a terrorist group that is, making the lives of the people in Gaza, the Palestinians in Gaza.
That's what Mr. Netanyahu said. Are you agreeing with his language?
So what I'm saying is that Israel is fighting a war where they want to get 58 hostages who have not been returned. That is what all of this is about. And they have said there won't be a ceasefire until they get their people back. What we need to make sure is that we're on the side that is going to eradicate Hamas. We need that to happen if we're ever going to get a two-state solution and end this war.
But does that mean that you, A, support the current Israeli action, and that actually you think that Mr. Netanyahu's language on this is justified?
I'm not here to police the language of the Prime Minister of Israel.
I'm not asking you to police it. I'm asking
what he has said. He sees
people need to know where you stand.
Yeah, but I've been very clear where I stand. Hamas is a terrorist group. They are not our friends.
I'm talking about what you think about the Israelis'
Yes, but it's all related. Who funds Hamas? Iran. An enemy of this country. An enemy of this country. Israel is fighting a proxy war on behalf of the UK, just like Ukraine is on behalf of the Western Europe against Russia. We have to get serious. We have to get serious. There was a terrorist plot in London against the Israeli embassy. We saw 2 Jewish members of the Israeli embassy in DC killed. Whose side are we on? We need to make sure that the hostages are returned. No one wants to see a war in Gaza. Palestinians are suffering. Netanyahu is complaining.
There you go. She said the quiet part out loud. They're fighting a proxy war on behalf of the UK.
She's a huge Kool-Aid fan, as we would say. She drank a bunch of it. Holy moly, that lady is like on another level. Yeah, she's wacko. Sorry, I don't know nothing about her, but her commentary clearly says everything you need to know right there. Wild stuff. But, again, a lot of people forget this. I was just like thinking in my head, oh, yes, of course, Hamas, a terrorist group. I mean, gosh darn it, they've been a terrorist group from its inception. As soon as the Western world discovered about them, they immediately said, what a bunch of oh, no, wait a minute, hold on a second. They didn't do that until fairly recently in history. So everybody forgets that this terrorist group designation is a willy-nilly magic wand thing that they use on certain groups whenever it's useful for them. Absolutely not. It's not like that's not their function. That's not how they've been. They don't go do bombings on their people. They're not terrorists. That's just what they've been called because of the one thing that happened on October 7th. And there's a lot of fishy stuff with that too. So, anyways, but yeah, you know how it works. Don't forget, this country was founded by a group of domestic, real terrorists. The rebellion, the rebels against the British Empire, they were terrorists. Oh, good gravy. Oh no, what do we do with that knowledge? Yeah, so it's always going to be like that.
According to the Crown, the founding fathers were terrorists. Okay, but nobody should worry because Ice Barbie, Kristi Noem, notorious dog killer, she went over there to Aardvark land, but we had problems here at home. They're killing people at our, they're killing Aardvark spies at their museum over here in DC. And so what does the Department of Homeland Security Secretary decide to do? She decides to go over to Aardvark land and cry on the wall. Here's video of that. These people, if they're not fake, then they're religious fanatics. And either way, they're extremely dangerous.
Opa. זה פינוק יש אותו. אני לא בטוח.
מגב, טיפה אחורה.
And so there she is at the Wailing Wall doing the ritual that apparently all U.S. government of any in any position of power has to go do this ritual, apparently, because they all do it. So thankfully,
I had no idea she was here at the whaling. Well, you guys know that this thing in behind me is just a fake thing. If I can show you where I'm really at, that's where I'm really at. I had no idea. I didn't see her here anywhere. I'm gonna have to go. How long ago was that video?
That was this weekend, like
wow.
2 days ago.
Yeah, I might run into her out here.
Well,
yeah, just kidding, obviously.
She's touring Aardvark land. Here's a video of her touring where she says, "In America, we remember, but don't remember how horrific it was what Hamas did. That's the reminder why it needs to be finished." And so she's calling for full-on genocide. Here she is touring Aardvark land. Why, you would think she would be here concerned about our illegal immigration problem, but seems like the Aardvarks take priority over American homeland for some strange reason.
Party years. Let's go from here.
Here?
Yeah.
Gaza. But this is the first
Is
base.
that what you were showing me on the map?
Yeah, the base of the line, the perimeter line. This is the base, this is the fence. And now we are thinking about the next.
Wanted to see Gaza is to remind people of the tragedy of October 7th and what happened there.
Absolutely.
In America, we remember but don't remember how horrific it was and what Hamas did and what they did to the Jewish people. And so that's the reminder that we constantly have to have in front of them, is how this started and why it needs to be finished. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Well, I'll do my very best.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for your leadership, and I'll see if I can come back. And
We're waiting.
yes.
Next time we will do it.
Yes. Thank you.
We constantly need to be reminded, really. Expect more legislation to come out of those two spies that were shot there in D.C. To take away our freedom of speech and other rights due to that attack, all in the name of Aardvark freedom, while the rest of us suffer.
Heads up, I have a severe lightning storm, so in case I disappear, you'll know why.
The IDF shoots horse transporting flour in Gaza. Let's watch this clip. And so they are animals abusers. Maybe America will care more about them shooting this horse, or maybe it's a donkey. But they'll literally kill everything because this horse works for Hamas as well.
هذا من راح
الله
والله خير بدر غير خير اخذ في راسه
حرب قذيف هذا شو
سجل فينا طلع في الروح
Hamas horse there, killed trying to deliver.
Where's PETA? I demand, at least, because what the actual F? That's messed up, brah. That's that's a certain type of human being who's willing to go through that much trouble. Wow. Anyway, wow.
Here's Rafah leveled. Rafah has been completely leveled by Aardvark military, leaving it virtually unrecognizable. It's now a pile of rubble. There's a short clip. You can see literally wiping them off the map. It's literally wiped off the map. Yeah.
I love those before and after pictures, man. They're always really cool. That was neat. Oh, wait a minute. Holy crap. Wow.
AP has found a soul. Apparently, they're now reporting. I guess they kind of have the whole time been reporting. Today was a big day there for Aardvarks. The Jerusalem flag march is underway in the Old City, a yearly display where they celebrate the 1967 military annexation of East Jerusalem. And you have your radicals there, Smotrich. How can you even call them radicals? They are the government. So the Aardvark government, Smotrich, Ben Gvir, we have some video of them. But turns out that the AP is telling us thousands of Aardvark nationalists chant death to Arabs during annual precision, the celebration there of the annexation of East Jerusalem. And here's the AP headline. And so they seem nice, right? Not Hamas, not terrorists, death to Arabs. And so I guess all Arabs are essentially Hamas terrorists in their eyes. And they're the good people and don't question them. So there you go. Death to Arabs. Chanted. What do you even say to this stuff, man? It's just, it's too much. And then another report out of AP, surprisingly enough, Aardvarks use human shields in Gaza. Use of human shields in Gaza was systematic. But wait a minute, they told me that Hamas is using human shields, and that's where they hide under the hospitals, schools, and bakeries, is because they're the ones doing it. But turns out, as we've reported here, we showed the video, they literally put a guy, they put an Arab Palestinian on the hood of their Jeep on one of these videos, literally a human shield, and drove around town shooting people with this guy on the hood of their Jeep like a deer or something. But here's another report out of the AP. And so you could see right there, it turns out that aardvarks are using humans as shields in a big detailed report here by the AP, laying it out. And so everything they accuse you of is what your enemy's doing, and they seem to be following that same line of reasoning here. So there you go.
But didn't the AP put out stories that was taking the exact other side, like how long ago? Like, so I mean, how do you believe these? Like, I don't know what to believe anymore, man. So they lied to me last time, but now they're telling me the truth. But then next time they're going to tell me something like, who the heck knows? I guess you just got to do your own research, use your own eyes, ears, and yeah, I guess social media feeds. And here we are. Wow.
Well, talk about conflicting sides of the story. Now they're saying one side says that we're going to have a peace deal. U.S. envoy says Gaza ceasefire deal on the table as aardvarks prepare for unprecedented attack. And then another side says that U.S. official refutes Hamas claims. It agrees to a ceasefire with aardvarks. And then aardvarks reportedly reject new U.S. ceasefire proposals, citing impossible Hamas demands. So every which way the scenario could cross, and yet they're still killing people. And so one side says yes, one side says no, the ceasefire, and we see how their ceasefires are. Oh, and by the way, they're still bombing Lebanon while all this genocide in Gaza is going on. They take time out of their day to continue bombing Lebanon to the north of them in southern Lebanon. All that is going on as well. And so what is a ceasefire deal even worth at this point? We've seen them make them alleged ceasefire deals, and they keep killing people. So what is it's worth nothing. It's literally worth nothing. I'm
starting to think it's like that this word does not mean what you think it means.
Apparently
ceasefire.
Not. Yeah, apparently we don't understand, or we need a new glossary for the meaning of the word ceasefire, because our definition and aardvark definition are two very different things. So maybe we need to all get on the same page about what an actual ceasefire means. U.S. asks aardvarks to delay major ground invasion. We see that Aardvark Post is reporting.
Delay, not stop.
Delay, not stop. And I don't know, can we believe any of this with all these conflicting reports? It's really hard to believe any of it, honestly. Just smoke and mirrors, some kind of cover so they could have plausible deniability. Well, we tried, but the damn Hamas, you know what I mean? It feels like this is the routine that we're finding ourselves in. Here, let's watch a couple clips here, I guess, of the march, the Jerusalem flag march. Do we have? I think we had had it somewhere here of just old Ben Gavir. Oh, here we go. Here's your friend of mine, Ben Gavir, dancing the dancing aardvarks, and so everybody loves this, celebrating the annexation of East Jerusalem. And so what could be more of a joyous occasion than trying to provocateur the Arabs into World War III? I mean, come on. It's something to dance about, right?
It's a big hit at all the raves.
Here's some more dancing aardvarks as they celebrate again the annexation of East Jerusalem. And so there we go, a joyous occasion indeed. Yeah, as they chant death to Arabs.
Sponsored by Hallmark.
Oh my God. So yeah, it was a short day today. We have that's all I got, except for we got this documentary about War Made Easy from 2007. Pretty good one. War Made Easy reaches into the Orwellian memory hole to expose a 50-year pattern of government deception and media spin that has dragged the United States into one war after another, from Vietnam to Iraq. And so that's our ode to Memorial Day here. We'll wrap up with that. It's about 1 hour and 10 minutes long. Of course, we can't broadcast it on the YouTubes because of third-party content violations. So if you want to watch that documentary, War Made Easy, to celebrate this Memorial Day, jump on over to Odysee, X, or Rumble, and you can view it over there. Final comments, thoughts before we wrap up this Memorial Day edition of Weaponized News, Ruckus?
Well, I'm sad that you have to continuously be nuking YouTube all the time. Like, you know, it's just not fair. Boom, there it goes. Oh, there it was. There it is. Anyways, yeah, no, yeah, I just, yeah, bro, it's really very hard to do news stuff on a big holiday, even though it's like a stupid holiday and it's like a somber one or whatever it is. It's just an excuse. They do all of these things all the time, but it's like, since it's a federal holiday and this one affects like the banks and stuff, I always get really nervous. I'm like, okay, is it going to open up the following day? Is everything going to be okay? Or is this the big one? So I sure hope that everybody gets access to their banks tomorrow and that the mail starts being delivered on time and everything is okay. But I guess we'll have to wait until the next truth from Donald Trump. Thanks for having me. Don't forget to check me out at alternatecurrentradio.com. It's been a blast. I'll see you next time, Sam.
Thank you, Ruckus. We appreciate your input on this Memorial Day and taking time out of your federal holiday to join us. Let's go to the channel. Let's plug you one more time. Find everything Ruckus at the Daily Ruckus right here. AlternateCurrentRadio.com.
That's the one.
And then go over to his X account and give him a follow there. Give him some business on all things interweb related there. He can help you out at AC_wordslinger. You can see right there at the bottom of your screen. Okay, onto the channels quickly. Do appreciate the Rumble chat. It's functioning again today, so thank you everybody for tuning in and chatting up on the Rumble. Denver, I see in there. I saw Chloe, a couple other people, Manimus, Highland, Thank you guys for tuning in. And to give you an update on the Barry, I emailed him, I texted him, I did everything, and no reply back. So right as of now, Barry is missing in action. We don't have proof of life. We don't know what happened to Barry. Let's hope Mark Carney didn't put him in a humanitarian quarantine camp or something like this. But more concerning actually is probably his domestic situation, which whatever it may be, I'm praying for the best for him, but he was having some domestic issues that he was not shy about talking about. And so I just hope all of that sorted out for him. And he didn't do anything bad, let's just say, because I know he was very emotional about his situation. And sometimes these things get the best of us. And so let's pray that Barry is okay out there in the great north of Canada. And we're looking for signs of life. Barry, if you're listening, give me an email or a text back and let everybody know that you're still with us as everyone is concerned. And so that's the Barry update. Is no update, as I've reached out numerous ways to him and still no reply back. And so we're waiting to hear back from you, Barry. Please give us a sign of life. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on the Odysee channel. That even Huffman was saying, hope you're all right, Barry. On the Odysee chat, he said, if you're here, if you're lurking. So even Huffman's concerned, and Huffman don't care about anybody. Just kidding, Huffman. I know that if your concern is genuine as is ours at Weaponized News, and we need you to get back to us, Barry, and let us know so we can tell everybody that you're okay. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in on the Odysee channel, the Bitchute channel. Let's go take a look. Is there anybody tuning in? We usually have a few lowly souls, a few over there. Shout out to you, Bitchute audience. Thank you for tuning in on this Monday Memorial Day edition of Weaponized News. And then the aforementioned Rumble chat. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Rumble. And we're going to keep it going for the aforementioned documentary. I'm now signing off on the YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on YouTube. Sadly, they don't agree with my definition of fair use. And so as to not run afoul of the community guidelines, we're signing off of YouTube. Jump over to